For some times now, Kenyans have been asking one question. What brought about the differences between President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua? And the reason why Kenyans are asking this question is, one, we all know and Kenyans had predicted that Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto were not going to work together for long. We knew that for a fact. The only thing we did not expect, we did not anticipate that they would fall out in their first term. We thought that they would sustain each other, tolerate each other up to their second term. The reason why people thought that they would go up to their second term is because usually a president always yearns for a second chance to be elected for a second term. And so in his first term, he usually tries to be good. He tolerates quite a lot of weaknesses of his partner. We also knew very well that both Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto are quite abrasive in their approach to politics. When you juxtapose that to what happened to William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta, you'll realize that William Ruto is such an abrasive one, but Uhuru Kenyatta is very passive. He's not as active as William Samoei Ruto. At some point in their first term, there were allegations that Uhuru had given William Ruto the leeway and he was the one who was calling the shots. And people have said that maybe the reason why Rigathi Gachagua fell out with his boss is because he's being denied a chopper, such kind of things, that maybe William Ruto has placed checkmates in Mount Kenya, people like Kimani Chungwa, Moses Kuria, and Ndindi Nyoro. And there have been quite a lot. But today, Rigathi Gachagua revealed to the nation articulately why they fell out with William Ruto, his boss. There is this soundbite that you have all seen, you have all heard, where Rigathi Gachagua was holding a rally in Kirinyaga. And Rigathi Gachagua revealed that the major reason, there could be other reasons why they fell out, but the major reason why they fell out with Uhuru Kenyatta, with William Ruto, is betrayal. And the man at the center of this betrayal is none other than Raila Amolo Odinga. And Rigathi is explaining that they sat in some room and William Ruto told him that Raila is bad and Uhuru Kenyatta is bad. You all know that Rigathi Gachagua really hates Raila Amolo Odinga. And they spread a lot of propaganda. And even after the elections, Rigathi Gachagua declared that he was going to place checks in State House so that whenever Raila would set foot there, then there are people whom he said he had placed. They would call him and tell him that Raila has been seen somewhere near State House, and he will ensure that Raila is chased away. But Rigathi is explaining that this was a long con, because after they had been declared as president and deputy, the very, very man that William Ruto had told him was the worst has now been embraced, and they are working together with William Ruto. Raila is being seen with William Ruto. And he said that with that, he also realized that since William Ruto has embraced Raila Odinga, then he can also embrace Uhuru Kenyatta. Because there's no way you'll tell me that Raila is bad, yet you dine on the same table. I can also look for Uhuru Kenyatta. And that is the main reason why Rigathi Gachagua fell out with William Samoei Ruto. He feels betrayed because William Ruto exposed him. And indeed, very many people are saying that Rigathi Gachagua is still learning. He's still a young politically.
Sisi hapa katika mlima Kenya tulipatia president 87%. Kweli ama uongo? Mimi nimesema hiyo 13% tukiongozwa na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta mtoto wetu, niunganishe kila mtu tukue kitu kimoja. Sasa wananipiga mimi ate niko na ukabila kwa sababu nimesema Uhuru Kenyatta ni mtoto wetu, tuungane pamoja. Iko makosa nimefanya? Iko makosa? Mimi niliangalia, na mimi si mjinga. Wasifikiria mimi ni mjinga. Sisi tulichukia Uhuru Kenyatta mtoto wetu. Hakuna makosa alifanya isipokuwa kutuletea Raila Odinga. Kweli ama uongo? Tukampiga, tukamdharau, tukamfukuza, tukamwaibisha kwa sababu ya kutuletea Raila Odinga. Siku rais wetu ameshikana na Raila Odinga, nikajiuliza, kwani mimi ni mjinga nipige Uhuru kwa sababu aliungana na Raila na rais wetu ameungana na Raila? Hii vita yote munaona ati nikiambiwa ninaongoza ukabila ni kwa sababu ya kusema hata Uhuru Kenyatta ni mtoto wetu. Nimefanya makosa? Na makosa Uhuru alikuwa amefanya tu ni moja. Barabara alijenga, maji alifanya, alileta stima, alikuwa amefanya tu makosa moja ya kutuletea Raila, si ndio? Lakini siku rais amesema, sisi tukakataa Raila tukaenda kwa William Ruto. Saa ile rais wetu William Ruto amesema Raila ni mtu mzuri. Kutakuwa na haja gani sisi kuchukia Uhuru Kenyatta? Iko haja? Iko haja? Watu wangapi wanasema niungane na Uhuru Kenyatta tuunganisha watu wetu? Mimi.
If you notice, there are two things that you might have noticed. Number one, Rigathi Gachagua was very bitter. And you'd wonder, why is Rigathi very bitter? He was very bitter when he was explaining the cause of their fallout. And that tells you that maybe he remembers how they held meetings, how William Ruto convinced him that Raila and Uhuru are bad, how William Ruto charged him against his own brother, Uhuru Kenyatta. Because that kind of anger cannot just come, without a reason. And I believe that William Ruto is looking back in retrospect and he feels, I was used. Number two, you might have realized that Rigathi Gachagua pulled a massive crowd, and this crowd is a worry to William Ruto and his henchmen. Where they are worried. And number three, you've realized that Rigathi Gachagua is now speaking the language of the people. He's telling them, ni nyinyi. He's trying to resonate with them. And he's forcing this kind of unity call, saying that we need to unite with Uhuru Kenyatta. And then you'll also realize that he's still getting back to William Ruto, placing the ball in his court, that I only want to unite Mount Kenya so that the 13% that did not vote for you will bring them in one basket. And many people listened to Rigathi and they felt Rigathi is still young politically because he's confessing that William Ruto misused him. William Ruto has been a politician for long. He started in 1997 contesting to become Eldoret North Member of Parliament, Eldoret North constituency member of Parliament. And you know how he's risen. Rigathi by then was a DO. Then he tried his luck. He became a one-term member of Parliament in Madeira. So he indeed is really very young. But based on what Rigathi Gachagua said, what is the interpretation? What can you conclude just based on Rigathi's statement today? I want us to look at just three interpretations basing on what he has explained. Kindly subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to allow YouTube to notify you whenever we release a video like this. If you love our show, please like our videos. This goes a long way in supporting the channel. You can also share our videos, and I will not forget to thank all our subscribers and our supporters. Ladies and gentlemen, Rigathi feels very much betrayed. As a man, he looks at himself and he feels, how did it happen? This man tells me Raila is bad. He sets me up against Uhuru Kenyatta. We even lead people to set fire on his Northland farm. And then he comes back, embraces Raila, one he had told me was the worst nemesis. And with this, he also wants to consolidate this power so that he can also revenge on William Samoei Ruto. And the revenge that I'm seeing that is knocking at Ruto's doorstep is Rigathi Gachagua is going to oppose the finance bill if Ruto is not very careful, because Rigathi feels betrayed. And he understands that William Ruto succeeded in consolidating power in Mount Kenya. And so that is the same thing that Rigathi Gachagua is doing. Whatever William Ruto did, Rigathi Gachagua is now doing it double. And Rigathi is succeeding. From the crowds and the way they were interacting with the crowd, it tells you that he will succeed in taking over. He will become the sole kingpin, and he wants the support of Uhuru Kenyatta. And he will do that. Once he gets grip of Mount Kenya, he wants to revenge. And I just want us to base our analysis on Rigathi's statements. Number 2, Rigathi wants to show William Ruto that he's not stupid. And from the way he was speaking, you realized he was saying, mimi sio mjinga, and he was saying it bitterly. Mimi sio mjinga, tuliambiwa Raila ni mbaya. And he's saying, now that the person we were told is wrong, was bad, is now the darling in State House, then I have no choice but to get back to who? To Uhuru. In other words, he wants to tell William Ruto that maybe I was young then, politically speaking, that is, but I cannot be naive forever. And he wants to ensure that he shows William Ruto that do not think that you're the only person who understands crafty politics. And so he wants to prove that to William Ruto, that I'm not stupid, the way you thought. How do you do it? By consolidating power, grabbing that power away from William Ruto so that he can also see that the same method he used is the same method that you are going to use. Number 3, I have a feeling that Rigathi Gachagua feels useless, feels used, and he wants to redeem himself. He cannot just believe that William Ruto used him against his brothers. You know what is happening today? If you look at what is happening in the rift, there is no one who is opposing William Ruto. He's a kingpin there. Yes, there are a few people like Alfred Keter, but you've not seen even William Ruto after Alfred Keter is attacking, has attacked William Ruto very many times. You've never seen William Ruto going for him. Yet in Mount Kenya, he has placed very many checkmates. And Rigathi understands that this is the divide and rule tactics. And so he wants to rise up and redeem himself. That is why he's offering apologies to the first family, to Mama Margaret, Mama Ngina, and the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, because he realizes that he made some political mistakes. And how does he do it? He wants to redeem himself. He wants to show the people, yes, I was wrong, but I was used. That is why he's coming out very openly and accepting. Nilitumiwa, but I've seen the light. I have removed my head from the sun like the proverbial, ostrich. I know that I made a mistake, but please forgive me. I'm offering myself, to redeem myself and to redeem our community. Because what it's now telling them is that not only was I used, but also our community. Because if you look at what is happening, the promises are no longer there. In other words, he's calling William Ruto a liar. Everything that he said was just political gimmicks. They were hoodwinked, so to say. And that is exactly what he's doing. He wants to block William Ruto, because once he consolidates that power, I can assure you that Rigathi Gachagua would want to go to the ballot, or he would want to team up with Uhuru Kenyatta. And by teaming up with Uhuru Kenyatta, Uhuru and Raila were together. This is the same Raila that William Ruto has embraced. He will go and support Raila. And that is exactly what he's telling William Ruto. If I go and support Raila, will you say that I'm bad? Because you said Raila was our political nemesis. He was the worst enemy. Now you have embraced him. What will William Ruto do when Rigathi supports Raila Odinga? And ladies and gentlemen, this marriage is going to face a very messy divorce. We are watching very closely. As I said, we were expecting them to divorce in the second term, but it has started, and I don't think it's at reached a point of no return. Betrayal is a part and parcel of our Kenyan politics.